forever. Hello. I was like, I did hit the button, right? Oh, to be honest, with the day I've had, I wouldn't have been shocked if I hadn't hit the button. I was talking through one of the conference sheets with like the guy who was just coming in as I was leaving. And he literally was like, I like pointed to it and I was like, so at 10 o'clock you've got tea for 15. And he looked at it and went, please tell me that says 8 o'clock. I do not want to be here at 10 o'clock. Literally said 20, like it said 8 o'clock, but I just read it wrong. And the guy was like, darling, are you okay? And I was like, I need to go home. So we're doing well. Sorry.
Hi, Andy.
Hi, Andy. I know. I made sure to grab mine on the way upstairs, although I haven't tabbed it. I was planning on getting home in time to make like a list of like things I wanted to go over. I haven't done that. Oh, pretty. How many ouch you hurt me is there?
Well,
Is that blue or is that orange? Which one's which?
I count the blue tabs.
All I did was the books, like the sections, so I knew how far through I was. That's all I tabbed. I attempted to tab the Near Witch right when we started, and then like I just haven't done any of the further ones. You okay, Andy?
I literally just bolted upstairs.
Same.
Thanks for joining us late notice.
I was literally like just sat down with my tea and I was like, shit, this is really hot.
Oh no.
Trying to eat it really fast.
We appreciate you. I'm literally just in the door. Like to the point where Jem saw me in my work uniform. I disappeared for like a minute and got changed and came back.
Oh yeah, if this automatically connected and didn't like do the sort of backstage thing.
Yeah.
You probably would have seen me in my bra because I was like getting changed.
That's funny. We have no Lisa, but she'll catch up. I do know that she loved the book though.
She did.
Oh, we're live. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. You were in your jumper before I added you to the stream, though. You are okay.
I know. But I just realised it's live. I just saw the red thing at the top.
You've done a me. You've done a me. I've counted my blue tabs.
And
26.
Actually, considering the size of the book and how much emotional damage I have,
yeah,
that's not actually as much as I thought.
That's also, just me being emotional, though.
Can you see I've got a different section? Like colour, completely?
Oh, yeah. That's weird.
I just noticed. And it goes the whole way around.
That's weird. Mine doesn't do that. But yeah, there's 26 emotional damage ones. And then then a load of orange ones for bad shit.
Yeah, there would have been a lot of them.
A lot of bad shit.
Yeah. My heart hurt in so many places. And these two will both attest to the fact that I sent them many a holy shit message. Especially Jem. Jem and Lisa got a lot of them.
Yeah, we did.
To which they sent me laughing emojis back, guys.
Yeah. Right. I just had there was I think only really the one bit that really made me emotional.
One
bit.
One.
Only one.
I'm like over here with the emotional damage tag. Like
what did you rate it?
5, obviously.
10 stars. 10 stars out of 10. 10
praise.
stars out of 5. 10 stars.
Yeah, it's
all the stars.
So much of what happened in here.
Boo. Who wants to guess what I thought of the book? Oh no, considering that's followed by It's Probably Good Lisa Isn't Here.
No.
Alice, did you hate this? Am I going to cry? Hello. Oh, hi, Pia. Well done for remembering. Thanks to Andy for your 2-hour countdown.
Put it on Twitter as well.
It's probably good because I was still working, so I didn't. So thanks,
I
Andy.
wasn't. But you gave me the 2-hour countdown. I was like, oh yeah, I should probably like get ready. Thanks, Andy.
I didn't hate
Oh
it.
well.
It was
Oh,
Aw.
how can it be? It's ended.
Hi, Ashla. I'm salty about the lack of trials still. That's
Move
not
on,
in
Molly.
this book, though. You can't blame this one for that.
Also, I think this is like the floppiest book that I own that wasn't meant to be a floppy paperback because
Look at all that color. Look at all the highlights.
I'm pretty sure I could go.
I mean, look at mine.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I mean,
That's what yours is meant to be like. It's exactly the same book.
Mine's is really floppy, but it's not like.
Mine's resting on a finger here. Like, that's how.
Do that. I mean, not well.
I meant like on palm to finger, dude. You're doing much
I
better
think
than me.
too.
That's pretty, though. I don't normally like it, but yeah.
It's
That
very
shows you that.
satisfying because of how the pages like spread out. It's very good. Like if I was still on taking
How
books,
cracked is that spine?
Huh?
How cracked is that spine?
Oh, it's cracked. All my spines are cracked. It doesn't actually like look too bad though. Like if I hold it, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, you can see the dip, but in general,
But
like
it's
you can
not-
tell I listened to the
you can tell,
audiobook.
like, on the sides, it's too bad.
I read mine. Sorry,
So did I.
I mean,
I crack
mine
all
is
my
mine is literally untouched. I listened to the audiobook and all I did was flip through to make sure I'd read something right and move bookmarks.
Some of my old books that my mum and I both read are so like the spines are so cracked that there are pages coming out.
Yeah, none of mine are that bad.
And that was my mum. She's one of those.
Does she fold them round?
Yeah. She's also the reason I won't let anybody borrow my books because they come back wrecked. But it's like I'm precious about my books. I don't care. Make fun of me. We couldn't afford stuff like that growing up, so and the only place I had to read books was the library.
We read them We read them straight after the other two, Alice, but we knew it was the end of a book.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If something tells me there's trials in it, I want trials. And there wasn't as much like of a trial thing in the last one, but there was still like matches. And there was like a pecking order. You knew going in because it was described what you were going to get, and you got what it was described. So to me, it made sense. I know that's the last book, but like,
yeah, it would be nice to have a bit more.
Just give me like a whole book series based on like ones through all the different years with magic evolving. It will never happen, but you know.
Threads of Power is coming out soon though, and V. Schwab dropped a small excerpt of it today, and it was literally 2 slides of Instagram, probably like a paragraph, and I was like,
I need the graphic novels like yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
They're on my wish list, and I'm trying really hard not to buy books until my birthday.
But
like, my wish list is
Prince.
What?
Of this or like the Steel Prince?
Yeah,
the Steel Prince. The Steel Prince ones are on my wish list.
I'm sure the first one was on KU at one point because I watched it on. Don't it on
tell
KU.
Me that. I understand. It's okay. We get you. What did you rate it the second time round, Jeb? Third time?
Oh,
fourth time? How many times have you read it?
I think this is my third.
Okay.
Fourth. Let me see what Goodreads has to say about it. I don't.
Andy, you've also read it before. What did you rate it this time?
This time I rated it 5 stars. The last time it was maybe a 3.5.
Oh, that's a big jump.
Yeah, I didn't, like I say, I don't remember half of the stuff that happened. Like the first time it was very much like, this is my problem with fantasy. I don't understand, like, if I'm using all my brain power to build a relationship with the characters. I'm not paying attention to the world building or the magic system, so it's much harder on a second reread. Like on a reread, because I already know the characters, like I already know what kind of person Lila is, Kel, like Rai, like I understand who they are. It gives me more time to kind of understand what's going on behind them. And that was what I didn't understand the first time I read it. I was like, I don't get this. Whereas this time it was a lot more. And for some reason it sort of pulled on my heartstrings a lot more. Oh no, there was two times that I got upset.
We've upped it.
Going up.
Big whip.
There was two character deaths I was upset about.
Oh, we'll come to the character deaths.
Yeah.
For sure.
Maybe 3.
I checked Goodreads. I've read it 3 times, and here's a weird little thing that was totally accidental. I read it in 2017, then I read it 3 years later in 2020, and then I read it 3 years later in 2023. So I'm not really sure how that happened. It wasn't planned. But
That's nice. That's quite a nice statistic, though. I like
so
that.
2026.
Huh?
2026
reread.
Yeah, I'll reread it.
Only gave it 3 stars. Not one of my favorite series, unfortunately. I think I can see why. Like as Andy said, it's heavy for not being high fantasy. Like there's a lot of stuff with the different worlds and the different like ways that they move around, different magic types, etc. But I got pulled in.
I think the first time I read it as well, I was expecting something totally different. I was expecting like, here's this person that can hop between these different worlds and the hijinks he gets himself into. I did not expect like royal messenger, growing up in the royal family, like a lot more serious thing.
I feel as well like every book has quite a different tone, which works for me but won't work for everyone. Like the first one is could be like a standalone story almost.
Yes,
it's almost like that's part 1, and then the other 2 books are the part 2 because they merge together almost. They do have very different tones, which really works for me. I really love that part of it, that aspect of it, but I can see why it wouldn't work for everyone.
I like that you see different people's point of views in this one.
Yeah. See, the thing I love about Sorry.
I was going to say, I am right in saying we didn't have much of Alucard's actual point of view. Like, I know he was with Lila on the ship, but this felt like more in-depth, like, learning about Alucard rather than just Alucard so that he was with Lila.
I think if I remember,
if that makes sense.
Shadows was only told from Kel and Lila's point of views.
I am right in saying it was just the 2,
maybe
right?
Occasionally Rai, but very small. And
there
this
was
time
also Lenos.
That was in this one.
Had a section. Oh, sorry, I thought you meant. Sorry.
No, like in the past ones,
in
like
Gathering of Shadows, there was a lot less. It was like very select people, and this one was like we dipped in and out of a lot of people so that we could cover more of the kind of effects, I guess, of what was going on.
Yeah, it was more widespread as well. Like instead of it being this is what is happening to me and what I think about what like the world and like I want to see more. As he saw more, you saw more. If that makes sense. Like he learned more about the world and saw more worlds and like grew the people that he knew. And then you saw more of what was happening in all the different Londons. Yeah. Wow, I don't know what I'm doing with my hands tonight. I apologize.
I also think this one is very much kind of like end of the world shit, big scale. So it makes sense to kind of have all those different point of views because it's not just happening to our characters, like the characters that we've been reading. It's happening to everybody in London, in Red London. So it makes sense to kind of get little snippets from these different places so that we understand the full effect of what's going on.
Yeah.
The thing that I love about Schwab, like, and funnily enough related to this, is that so many just like side characters or like NPCs as they would be in like games and stuff are so well written that I want to know more about them.
Yeah.
Like what's her name at the market?
Calla.
Like I want to know how she built that. Like give me the whole story of like how that came about because that sounds interesting. Like
because she has so many stories as well. I would read a whole book about
little bits that she.
Can we have like a side novel that is like Gleanings and like A River of Silver, where it's just short stories from all of these different point of views. Or I don't know about Gleanings because I haven't read that yet, but it's a short story collection.
Wait,
But
is
like
Calla
River of
the
Silver.
is Calla the pirate market, black market?
No,
No,
Calla's
Calla was the one at the
Oh no, I meant the pirate
castle.
one.
pirate one.
It began with an M.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
The black market ship is what she's on about.
Maris.
Whoa! Right, sorry. Yes, I was different. Yeah. Yes.
Calla's
Yes.
the one that got her the trousers and then the jacket and then the dress.
I love Calla.
Yes. No, I would.
Different one.
I would 100% read a whole book about that. Are you kidding? Because
Yeah.
she's obviously been alive for a really long time. She's got all these kids. She's done all these deals. I got to know. I need to know.
I got to
But like,
to
she's
know.
only in such a small part of the book.
Yeah.
But
and like
there's a depth to her that you can feel it.
Yes.
That whole market on a ship in the middle of nowhere that you have to pay the price to get on. I know that we're getting detoured to like further down the book. I don't care. This is where we've ended up, guys. It's fine. Chaos reigns. But like how do you build this room that is full of things that people have given you to get on, so you know they're precious in some way or another because somebody is saying that it's like the thing they're willing to give up, to then like you get something more precious to buy the precious thing that you've just done to get more. What? Like
Yeah. It's just such an interesting kind of aspect of the book, is just having all these little places and all these different ways that magic is used, not ways they're meant to be used, but kind of how it's all fits together. I just think it's so cool.
Also, hi Smash. I don't know if you're still here because this was 10 minutes ago. Ashlag agrees with Alice. Smash. I'm just trying to move through the comments so that we don't like leave a 20-minute gap and move back to what we were talking about. She lays out the Schwab I have read, I've disliked more than I have liked. Oh no, Alice, that makes me sad. Rated at 4.5. I think I rated most of the series that way. I just missed that extra oomph.
That's fair.
It's a good rating, 4.5 though.
Yeah.
Sad that it's not 5-star.
Before we go on, I just did a little thing.
Go for
I thought it would be fun. Okay? I thought it'd be really fun to just compare the number of deaths in a country for the rest of the series. I thought it would be interesting. Okay? As I was reading, I decided I would make it a list, but I decided halfway through. So if I've missed any, I'm sorry. So in A Darker Shade of Magic, the only deaths I remember are Athos, Astrid, Baron, and Holland.
This was why I was so shocked in book 2.
In A Gathering of Shadows, I remember random tournament dude that tried to kill Lila.
Yes.
Yep.
Could not remember his name. And that's the only death I remember. That's it.
Weren't Kel's guards killed at one point?
Oh my God, I forgot about Parrish and Jen. I am awful. Parrish and Jen, thank you. A Conjuring of Light. Honorable mentions, because I'm not sure whether they're actually dead, because it was not, I don't remember it being named, but I'm pretty sure Vasri, Stross, and Tav off the ship are not there at the end. So I think we died during everything.
I think they died in the fake, like we are sinking our ship pirate thing.
I think they died, yeah.
No, I think they might be alive.
I don't think, because she just says, because I was waiting for it to confirm at the end, but she just said some of the original crew and some new, but she didn't say anyone by name.
Because
and I haven't seen them on the page for a very long time.
At least one of them was with, because one of them was with, it was a Tav that was with Lenos,
yeah, and then Lenos was on his own.
Yeah, but he spoke and he said, like, the king, like, let him in, let the king has come.
Yeah.
But because he is saying that, to me, he's been taken over by Oseron rather than being burned up.
Maybe.
So as long as he didn't die any other time.
Questionable. We don't know
Yeah.
where they are. Could be dead, could be alive, not confirmed.
Could be
Maybe
Osseron burnt,
power.
could be somewhere else.
Yes.
Now,
But,
now
oh
the
god.
four deaths.
Oh god.
And I've tried to do them in order, but like I said, I did remember halfway through. So, Oshka, Kisamir, Anissa, Alucard's sister, Kala, Jannar, Vortalis in a flashback, Lenos, Hanno, Hastra, Elo. Hanno and Ilo were the guys on the ship, the young girl and the old man. Cole, Cole, Amira, Maxim, Oshka again, technically, Cora, and Holland right at the end. So
we went from dead. Is Holland dead?
Yeah, he dies right at the
end.
After he goes back to White London, he's like, he knows he's never getting up, and then he stops breathing.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really quiet death, which I think is so beautiful for him.
And it's fitting for Holland.
So we go from like 4 to 15 plus a half death because Oshko is reanimated and then dies again.
Is Alucard's brother on there? Did he not get burnt up?
No, he doesn't. Because he speaks to at the end.
As I would say, I thought he got burnt up.
No, he's there at the end claiming that he has no memory of it, but he's a dick and can die in a fire, and I wish he had burnt up, but he didn't.
I would swap the villain for the sister any day.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder I had so much fucking emotional damage. Mm-hmm. And she said she was only affected twice.
Yes, which two affected you? You said there was 2 moments.
So,
if Kala isn't one of them, I'm gonna cry.
Who? Oh yeah, Kala. Yeah.
Okay.
Kala, and then Lenos and Hastra.
Oh,
I literally sent a message.
I wasn't like affected. Felt better. It was like one sort of fell swoop. That got me.
I sent messages being like, "What? No. Oh my god. What? No. Fuck. What?" Like, literally the whole part. Like, I just had no words. My brain was not happy. I wish I had tabbed somewhat for that. No, I wish I had tabbed somewhat so that I could reopen the book and I could go, this is the bit. It's too big for me to even know where shit is. Sorry. I've just got it for a prop.
I think it's funny actually, because I would say across the whole series, the 2 deaths that affected me the most, I'll say Baron is a close third, but the 2 deaths that upset me the most happened to be Kel's guards, Parish and Hastra always upset me the most.
Yeah. Hastra, I was sobbing.
He is the epitome of a golden retriever.
Yes.
Man. This is what it is. Like, he's so likable. He's really sweet. He's really caring. Really
could have been a monk.
Could have been a monk, supposed to be a guard, and then dies.
He just wanted to see the world. He just
emotional damage.
It was the fact that I was like, okay, we're nowhere near the end. Like, it can't be Kel. Kel isn't going to die. Like, it's fine. And I was setting myself up for Kel being injured, and then suddenly he was dead, and I was like, brain stopped. Had no.
It's brutal.
The way he died has just reminded me of another book that I read recently, and both times it was the same sort of feeling of what?
Yeah.
Because it was so quick, so just
when the Danes died, good for them, great. They're evil buggers, kill them off, they deserve to be dead. There was no okay, fair enough, you're not supposed to like them in the first place, you're meant to the others, but you wanted to root for them dying. I'm sorry, but they were evil.
They were awful.
And even Oshka, you felt bad for her in the first place, but then her being was just it hurt for me for her because she didn't ask for any of this. She just wanted to survive. She wanted to be good.
She wanted
for
to
Holland, not for Oseron, and
Yeah.
she got just twisted and tangled into this horrible like cage of like deceit and controlling and no, the fact that she got reanimated as well and then told
It's
to
just
come, like,
desecration.
oh, I was like, I'm not a person who likes zombie books, like that isn't my kind of thing anyway, but I just wanted to like kill him for doing that to her. Like, let the girl rest.
Yeah. I think Casimir's death was very like that death was there to make a point.
Yeah, it was shocking because she was so strong.
So
She was
strong.
just,
Yeah. That he just
pieces.
destroyed her.
Yeah.
And then
think
Jannar. Why did Jannar get involved? Jannar should have just fucked off. Like,
Casimir shocked me.
Being like, so every single time Jinnar's death happens, I'm always like, fuck, I forgot about that, because it's such a small moment, because it's almost like in Kel's periphery rather than like he's really paying attention to it, if that makes sense, or Holland's periphery, whichever one we're in. And it's
it
just
took me like a minute to realise what had happened.
Yeah. I remember, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but I started this on one of the lives. I can't remember whose live it was, and I'd started it. I think it was like I'd come in after work and I was late to somebody's sprints, but I'd said I'd be there. So I'd started, and I think I'd read the first like 5 or 6 chapters, and I'd gone to bed, and I woke up in the morning and I was like, the fuck did I read? Like, I physically couldn't remember anything. I had no idea whose point of view we were on, like who was where. The only thing I remembered was Lila saying something about like having been in this and that and the next thing, which is like the first sentence. And I was like, I listened to this for 40 minutes. What the hell did I do? So I restarted it. The first 5 chapters, it's like putting everybody in their like places. And I was like, I am so glad I went back and read it again, because I think is it not like the first chapter is Lila, or like the first bit is Delilah Bard. The next one is Holland. The next one is Kel. And then the next one is Rye. And then he had his flashback. And then it's Alucard. And then it's Lila. Like, literally, it's like so important. And I missed most of it. And I was like, okay, brain, no, we're not doing this. Focus. And then I read it in a day last weekend.
In those first chapters as well, there's so much like emotional shit happening with like Kel thinking that and Rye suffering and Alucard finding out about the soul bond and the life, and watching him like turn into a months-old corpse.
Yeah.
That's freaky.
And also so how much did Kel have to hurt and mangle himself to escape, and he still couldn't get the fucking collar off?
I know.
Like I was like, I was almost crying at the first bit, which is why I was like, how did she only get 2 bits? Because like the first few chapters was enough to make me like feel pain. And then Rye, almost like we thought he died pretty much. Like he did die. I know he's not on your list, but like he did die. Like he should be on there. And
that's
then
true. Half death.
Yeah, it's another half death. Like we thought he'd gone, but the fact that their mum, I will now say their mum, and I like the parents much better after this book.
Yeah.
Like the fact that she was like, he'll come back, and it wasn't talking about Rye. I was like, okay, I a little bit more respect. And then as it went through, I was like, okay, I can deal with you two now.
Oscar and Lila, every one of my favorite bits in like the opening, and they're like fighting when she's trying to get to Cal in the and she says Oscar says, names are important, she said, twirling the cord. Mine is Oscar and I have orders to keep you out. Beyond the doors, Kel let out a scream in a frustration, a sob of pain. My name is Lila Bard, she answered, drawing her favourite knife, and I don't give a damn. Yeah, girl.
Yeah.
You have no idea how much I was like, yeah, yeah, go. And then I thought she'd won. I thought Oscar was gone, and I was so excited.
Yeah. And then later on, when she's fighting Oseron, and like she does something and then throws the knife at his leg. He's like, I learned that one from her. Yes, Lila.
We love her. She's so sassy.
Somebody just reminded. I know I'm jumping all over the place. You probably hate having me on here. But you just reminded me.
Have you seen how mad my brain is today?
True,
like,
true.
me and
It
Jem
just
would have been
reminds
all over
me
the
of
place
a part
anyway.
that made me actually laugh out loud. Like while I was reading it, I actually outwardly like laughed, and it was when again I forgot this all happened. It's when like Kel and Lila are like on the boat, and they're like
my favourite line.
all over each other, and then like the boat starts like going fucking wild, and Alucard comes in soaking wet, and he's like, "Stop fucking with the boat!"
I love though that I think it made me laugh even more that when Alucard was training Lila on the ship, he was like, "Remember, you can't move an ocean." But the two of them making out moved the fucking ocean.
But it's just the fact that he's like clearly has just been like soaked with a wave, and he's like, "Stop fucking with the boat."
In the Little Inkling's planner, there's a space for quotes, and I could have picked any quote from these books, any at all, and I went for "Stop fucking with the ship."
The ship. It's like as well. There's a bit like she's so like V. Schwab's such a funny writer as well. Like the bit where Holland and Kel have to like kind of escape at the back of the boat when they get to the first port to stop, and Lenos is standing at the window like nothing is here. It's like just airing out the ship.
Yeah.
I think you'll like my quotes that I picked for the trilogy. So my quote for A Darker Shade of Magic, I know we're going back the way, but you've kind of got to all three of them, is "I'd rather die on an adventure than live standing still."
Great quote.
My quote for Gathering of Shadows is "Fix your crown, my prince, it's crooked."
Love it.
Because I couldn't not. I tried to only do one quote, and it was really hard. But I did "Scars are not shameful, not unless you let them be. If you do not wear them, they will wear you. Because unless you guys haven't noticed, I am literally covered." And I was like, I love it. But yeah, the "Stop fucking with the ship" was very, very, and I was so tempted, and I was like, no, pick ones that actually mean something to me. Like, don't just pick the one that like stood out. But oh my god, if I was doing more than
the whole trilogy, like that moment is always the one that I think of when I think of the trilogy because it always makes me laugh so much.
I'm actually impressed it's not "Fix your crown, my prince," because okay, that's fine.
I'm not invested in Alucard and Rye, I must admit.
Oh, I think they're really cute. I love the ending.
Yeah, the ending's cute.
We're getting like way ahead, and we haven't really. I should have totally made notes that this went in order. I apologize.
Yeah, right. So let's start from the start.
It's Conjuring Chaos. It's fine. I should have named it Conjuring Chaos instead. What happened at the start?
So at the start is when Lila's going to rescue.
But yeah, so we had Lila fighting Oshka.
Yeah.
Which was great. We had Kel literally breaking his wrists and his hands to get out of manacles to then still not have his magic to get himself out of the room.
Can we just pause on that one? Okay. And can you imagine how traumatic it is for me every time reading that? Because Kel is like my favourite character of all time. And every time I read this book, I have to read that passage where he's just getting like fucking murked by himself trying to escape.
I know, it's not
really graphic, isn't it?
It's not even like
gonna be okay, but fucking still, you know.
I think the worst part is like it's not like anybody else. It's not like he's being tortured and being made to go through it. Like at the end of the last book, like he had no choice. It was Oshron. Like this is literally him, and it always makes me think of what's the movie where the real life one where the guy got stuck in the canyon between the rock and he had to like
127 hours.
Yeah, like it hours. Days would be that's like a half a year. He'd be dead.
It would take me that long to chew through my own arm, to be fair.
I know, right? But like, I always think like you would be like the perfect or the worst person to have in that situation because you probably could dislocate everything and get out of that handcuffs. Like, But like me, I'd be screwed because my joints do not move.
No.
But like to want to get out that much to save Rye, to physically harm yourself that much to not have power to then heal yourself.
But he knows
obviously there's blood.
Because they heal faster. I also
Yeah,
love
but
that
he needs
Lila
access
comes in
to-
and
he
is
needs
like,
access
let me
to
heal
his
you. And
blood
he's
for
like,
that.
no. And she's like, healed.
But like he
Don't
needs
kill
access to his magic to use the blood to actually heal himself, which with the collar on he
I don't
doesn't have
think they
access
can heal
to.
themselves. I don't think they can use it on themselves. I'm sure he said that in one of the other books, that you can't use it on yourself.
Maybe he did.
I don't know.
But one of the things I love as well about that whole moment, because at that moment,
I just want to hug him.
Rye is the one. Rye, like, I mean, I can.
Rye's dead.
Rye is the one that's suffering the most. Like, Rye is the one that is actually dying, and he is the only one that is able to stay calm. He is fully accepting of this. Alucard, Kel, and Lila, maybe not necessarily Lila, but Alucard and Kel, who are two of the most powerful magicians,
Are both freaking the fuck out.
Like, they are feeling helpless because they cannot use their magic to get themselves out of it. Lila barely uses her magic to get herself out of it. Like, she uses a lot of her brute strength that she's learned from not having any magic in Grey London. And then Rye has never had magic, so he is not reliant on that. It's that sudden switch of perspective and switch of suddenly the strong are now not strong. Yeah. And it just I love it.
Yeah, I think as well, it really kind of like, if you didn't know by now that Rye and Kel are like proper brothers, like there's none of this, he's not really blood, so it's not brother. Fuck off. They are like the most brotherist brothers I've ever seen. Like the way that they're literally both willing to die for each other, to hurt for each other, to kill for each other, all of that, it just like shows like how strong their bond is. And this section, I think that opening section really kind of cements it, because Kel, if it was just Kel, he would probably just be like, well, I'm not going to say yes, so I guess I'll just die here. But because he knows if he dies, Rye will die, the way that he is like almost feral trying to get out of it, do you know what I mean? Like he rips his arms apart. He's like, well, that will heal, but if I have this collar on, Rye's going to die. And it's all about saving Rye, never about saving himself. Yeah.
In fact, Rye is more concerned that something is happening to Kel than the fact that he is dying. He's like, I can die as long as Kel's okay. Like, you know.
Yeah. It goes both ways.
So on page 33, when Rye is dying, and I was already a mess, 33 pages into a fucking 666-page book, it's like they were like, Alucard was trying to tease him about, so you plan to die young then? Or live forever? Oh, really? Dying is so mundane. And how exactly do you plan to live forever? And then Rye just kissed him. But then, like, as the page goes, like, everybody's starting to freak out, as you said, Andy. And then it's like when the silver was, like, disappearing. And I was just like, oh. And then he was screaming. And I literally was just, this was part of the part that I didn't remember reading. I'm so glad I went back.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine if I had suddenly started paying attention and, like, Rye was dead, but I had no idea what had happened? I'd have been like, eh?
I do love that it starts with, like, the next chapter then starts slightly comedically, it's like, for a single horrifying moment, Lila ceased to exist.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can just imagine her being like, I've got this. As Travars. Oh, fuck, I don't got this. Like, that whole moment of like, oh, shit.
Oh, also, when she forgets about, like, physics and brings them over on top of a tower, and they're just like, whoop! Just careening down a roof.
I love them so much.
Right now, and she's like, cool, and he's like, but not like that.
But
also,
downstairs.
I would like to point out that in book 1, I knew that she had power.
You did catch on to that quick.
Mm-hmm. I love her.
The first live show, me and Lisa were trying so hard not to give stuff away.
The pair of them were just sat there going,
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of it kind of alluded to maybe, and then in the comments, Andy was like, hinted at like a brick to the head.
Although I'm saying that because I hadn't read the first, I hadn't reread it before then. I only reread it for the live show for the second one. It wasn't as heavily hit. I forgot that the eye thing didn't happen until much later on. I thought the glass eye was mentioned much earlier.
No.
I think the only time it's mentioned is he's like he thinks that her eyes are slightly different colours, doesn't
yeah, because he thought she had the heterochromia or the whatever it is when you've got the two different colour eyes.
But if
but
they're
real,
saying
obviously.
only if they're saying only Antarai can pass through from world to world, she is able to pass through. I was like, well, if it's anything but that, I'm going to be pissed off. So I've decided she's an Antarai.
Do you know what? I would like that story, actually. I would like the story of how they took her eye.
Yeah.
She doesn't remember getting it, but that must have started going black, and somebody took that. My bet's on her dad.
But was it like, why did they take it? Because they knew she would be Antarai, or was it to sell on the black market, or like, there's so many.
I think it's because they was like, because this is like back in Deer, and I wonder whether they thought like that someone's going to say that she's like a demon, like possessed. Yeah. Or they whipped her eye out, because it would be a religious thing, I think, in Grey London.
As we say, my thought was it was a religious thing in Grey London, but also depending on how open the worlds were when she was a kid, because obviously
they weren't open.
Exactly. So my thought was along the same lines. But then did they take it and then go, well, we don't want to deal with you because you could be a demon, street kid?
Where's the eye? I would imagine
probably on that ship.
Not a real eye, Jesus.
I would imagine her real eye is probably decomposed by now. I don't think eyes unless it's in pickle. They could have pickled it like an egg.
The crown would have killed it's like
got magic though? Like maybe it's kept alive by magic. What if it's the one that she got back?
That's a glass eye.
No, she got rid of her glass one and.
But isn't it just black glass eye?
It's a fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just what she wants you to believe. It's really a real
eye.
Going back to Ryan Kell, very briefly.
Go back to where, sorry?
Ryan Kell.
Okay.
Has one of my favourite lines that shows Rye's devotion the other way is when he puts his mum in her place, when he first kind of like wakes up. And he says, Kell isn't the only one you failed to understand. My bond with him didn't start with this curse. You wanted him to kill for me, die for me, protect me at all costs. Well, mother, you got your wish. You simply failed to realise that kind of love, that bond, it goes both ways. I would kill for him and I would die for him and I would protect him however I am able to, from Farrow and Vest, from White London and Black London, and from you. Yeah!
Baby boy!
That was a real yes moment.
Every time I read it, I'm like, no.
I did the same. I sat here I stopped playing because I play a lot of solitaire and stuff or color when I'm reading audiobooks. And I just kind of went, yes.
Because of everything that happened in the second book, I think it was really good that was right here at the start of the third book, because it kind of got them thinking. And then they did the things that kind of make you not hate them as much by the end of the book. So that when their deaths happen, it actually does make you a little bit sad, because obviously you'd be sad for Rye anyway, but it makes you feel a little bit sad, more sad, because actually there is that relationship between them and Kell. But because of how damaged it is in the second book, I think it is important that Rye said that to Amira. Yeah. Because then that got her kind of thinking about it, and she has a few moments where she is kind of starting to show a softer side to Kell again, like when he's leaving and she does the little face hand thing.
Yeah.
And I think that was important, and I think if she'd have died without that happening, that would have been really awful for Kell, because they would have both died. And when he gets back, actually when he first gets back and Rye is breathing, and then he thinks Amira's coming to
tell him off,
and she hugs him, and Maxim comes running in, and they have a little huddle on the floor. Like it opened the door for that sort of thing as well. So then you kind of feel like some of the relationship was on its way to
being mended.
Yeah.
I think as well, like on the sort of their deaths, the captain of the guard as well, I think was really quite brave, kind like in a way, because like she literally punches Rye to stop him from stopping Maxim from going out, fully aware
that
that
now going to be king
was going to die.
Yeah.
So
and
she
it wasn't
knew what she was doing.
like she was the head of this guard, though. They've been friends since he was the Steel Prince. Like they've been friends all those years, and she knew that she had to go and let him do that, even though she didn't really want him to, because that's like her best friend. She had to kind of like go with the order of her king.
But the fact that Rye would then immediately become her king, and she's just like gone against his wishes and assaulted him, he could have immediately like had her killed.
Oh my god!
Or banished or like anything, and she's
just baby.
It's like if when the Queen was on her deathbed, someone had just walked in and punched Charles in the face, and then been like, "Look, sorry,
my bad."
Oh god.
Alice says, if she grew her eye back, I would have rioted because curing disability.
Yeah,
I don't think she'd have grown it back. No. I more meant like a magical equivalent of the boat's ship, like eye being her real one, and just like it having found its way there. Like, I don't think for all the good that Schwab does when they write, I don't think that would have been something they would have put in a book.
No.
Like,
I do like, can they entirely see from their? They can see from that eye though, can't they?
They must be able to, yeah.
Yeah, so she would know if it was a good eye, because suddenly she'd have like depth perception.
When Oshka went to stab her in the eye, I was like, not the good eye.
Was when it was then shattered and it looked like did they not say it looked like rainbows? And I was like, oh, that's quite pretty. Mm-hmm. Something like shattered crystal. Like
your eye just, I know. It's, ignore it.
It's fine. It's all good.
Whatever. Moving on.
But can you imagine Oshka in that moment? Like, just the sheer sort of shock. It was just like, stab, haha, wait a minute. And that. Like, for a fighter who ensures that she doesn't hesitate, like, the reason she's always got 2 or more weapons on the go is so she can fill in those gaps. The thing that killed her was allowing that gap.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
I feel sad now. How did you only have 2 emotional damage moments, Andy? Like, I don't get it. We're 45 minutes in, and I just want to hug it again.
Like I say, Lenos and Hastra, one of their deaths would have been bad enough because both of them were very much characters that I was like
rooting
not
for,
attached to, but like they were like need to be protected at all costs, sort of.
I was rooting for Hastra. I was excited for the end of this book for it to be like, and after all his adventuring and seeing the world, Hastra retired to a monkery? No, not a monkery, a monastery.
Although there was also when he went back and saw that the plant that he had made had died, and he was asking Tyrion how to fix it, and Tyrion was like, "You don't." So that kind of and Kala as well. Like Kala was probably one of my favourite characters, and she did not deserve to die.
No,
like she should. But at the same time, the people that died like that were the people that were so strong that they fought it, and I was like, damn straight she fought it. Like, you know, Alucard's sister, I don't really care about, because those kind of female characters I'm not overly keen on.
I think the only reason it was sad was because she was very young.
Yeah.
I think that, and also because she was the only nice family member that he had left.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean,
now he's a dickhead.
She was excited to see him when he went back, and it was the brother that was the asshole. Like, I felt sorry for the sister. I wish the brother had died.
I'm actually glad. I'm glad the brother did not die.
Why? Do we think he's going to die?
No. The brother is now the head of his family. like properly, which means he has to deal almost every single day with Rye as his king, and Alucard is the king's
oh my god! And when it becomes like official, Alucard's gonna just be like, "Bitch, I'm like king consort. Bow down."
Yeah.
Or
He's
prince
gonna be like,
consort.
Okay.
he's gonna have to bow to Alucard.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That made me that.
Also, on a less like humorous note, I think it was important that it was her that died and not him, because it needed to show that it was like, not just because you were a good person you weren't safe. And I think that was one of
Yeah.
like our indications, was just
And
because it's like a nice character who's related to one of our main characters don't mean shit. No one is safe.
yeah, and age didn't matter, gender didn't matter, where you were in the city limits didn't matter. Like if you were in the slums or if you were the royalty, like it didn't matter. If it got to you,
Yeah, that was it.
you were screwed. Like, okay, they hold up. Like they stopped people getting to them and they were safe in that way. But like, you know, they knocked on, was it when Lila went to the monastery to get something for
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyrion.
Tyrion? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking I was on Game of Thrones there. My brain was like, am I on the wrong program? Like when they went and there was like the knocking on the door and like that whole do we open it, do we not sequence, because obviously you don't know who's on the other side.
Yeah.
That section really gives me the creeps, because it's just the idea of you're like in a monastery and you just hear someone knocking going, "Let me in." Open the door.
It gives me the creeps now.
Yeah. Like, that's some skinwalker shit. You close that door and you run away. Like, no, don't look, don't listen. If you think
the
you
fact that she went back for the cat.
Oh yes, she had to go back for
and
the
then
cat.
like
she likes to think she's a hard ass, but she's actually got a heart of gold.
Chase that cat into danger.
And then
she
nearly
got yeeted. She nearly got yeeted into the river, the diseased river, because she was trying to get the fucking cat back for her captain.
And then was it Lenos that was just like, I got the cat?
Yeah, even a cow. But that isn't just cats though.
That's just cats. Like they would run away from me and like circle Richie's legs for you know.
Like, come here, I'm saving you from danger, and the cat's like,
no.
Just on the topic of the monastery bit, convent, whatever the hell it's actually called, I can't remember. Do you think that the knocking there was what was reverberating into the pub in Grey, where my favourite little cinnamon roll now stays and was like using his salt and his sage? And I can't think Ned. I was going to say I can't think of his name right now, but my little cinnamon roll is the cutest.
Because like they are fixed points, like they're anchored in each world, they kind of overlay in each world. I think that was a point where perhaps Ossarun was trying to break through.
Yeah, I think so too.
I was assuming it wasn't coming from the monastery, but because obviously it kept knocking and it didn't go on that long when it was with Lila. But I was like, bitch, don't you get through there. You're not killing. I was like, don't you fucking dare touch him. Like, I can't cope at this point. Like, we will have word swap if you do anything to him.
No. What was so satisfying? When that dickhead king went swanning in there trying to be like the big I am, and he was going to make demands of Red London, and he was going to demand to see Kel, and then immediately shat his pants and ran away.
I know, like, what does he think he's like? You are a
Who does he think he's doing?
You might be a king, but you are a like you're.
How are you going to make demands of a whole other world?
What are you going to do? What army are you going to send through? Like what?
You don't have anyone
say that. Oh, you can't.
Oh look! Like, if I don't come back, you'll never see me again.
Garters.
Kel could literally just walk over there and like smite him.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. And Lila would, Lila would, if he was like, you are now my Antari, she'd be like,
no.
Oh no.
It's like the knives come out, it's like, shink. I love those knives.
I want her one that has the The knuckle.
The knuckle ones.
I
I like the ones that come apart. And it's just like...
And all of us.
She's got a knife. She's got 2 knives. Fuck me, they're on fire.
Think of how much power you would have. You'd be like, oh, it's like that scene. Is it like Crocodile Dundee, where he's like, "That's not a knife. This is a knife. This is a knife, and this is another knife. And now they're on
fire." Oh my god! Like, can we talk about Lila almost getting herself killed?
Which time?
In the alleyway when Holland saves her.
Oh my god, Jeff, we're on fire.
That scene was so upsetting because I thought she genuinely might, because I was like, she wouldn't, like, Schwab wouldn't do that. And then I was like,
but Schwab would.
Everybody's dying. So.
It definitely had, like, it gave you a big insight when you realised it was Holland that saved her, because he could have just let her die and nobody would have said a thing.
I really like Holland, and I know he's done some shitty things, but he's been in some fucking shitty situations where he's needed to fucking survive.
Yeah.
Like, when the flashbacks killed me.
Yeah, when Athelstane was still alive, he literally couldn't disobey him. Like, he was magically controlled. And then
he went straight to fucking Oseron.
Well, that wasn't his fault.
Again, not his choice.
No, I don't mean like it was his fault, Andy. I just mean like he went straight from surviving Athelstane and being like, thank fuck, to, oh shit, I'm stuck in a world with Oseron. Let's try make shit better. Oh fuck, I'm now so far gone. I can't make things better because he's overpowered me again. Like, he just... I did this kind of face a lot while I was reading this.
Holland was sort of stuck by his unfortunate circumstance. But I also agree with part of what he said. Like, Red London shut the doors and left his London to stave off the dark.
Do you know what Holland kind of reminds me of? He reminds me of... Oh shit, what the fuck's her name? Oh my god. Why is my brain just gone blank? Hold on, 2 seconds, it's rebooting. No, I haven't read that. 2 seconds. I think it's Fontaine. Am I right?
From Les Mis?
Yeah.
Fontaine, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Anne Hathaway, right?
Yeah.
I had Cosette in my head and I knew that was wrong. Like, she reminds me of Fontaine. Like, she was trying to do the best for something that had happened. Like, he was trying to do the best for his London in the way that he knew how. Then something bad happened. Like, Fontaine got kicked out of the workhouse. He got fucking beaten into the Danes. And then everything went downhill, regardless of how hard he tried to get out of it. Like, she tried, she lost her hair. She tried, she lost her necklace. She tried, she ended up with chlamydia and everything else under the sun. And then, like, okay, fair enough, her suffering wasn't quite as long-winded or horrendous as Holland's. But, like, that whole, like, storyline of one thing happening that then just spiraled the rest.
Yeah. I think it's just... I really hope that things start to repair in Threads of Power, because it's so sad.
Oh, I really grew to like Holland. I disliked Lila when she was like, you really like finding yourself. Please, Lila, that's cool. Yeah, no, it really was.
This was the bit I was trying to find, actually, Peter, because I was trying to remember when it happens. But it makes me really sad because she's just lashing out because it's not long after that fight, I think. And she's like still kind of like reeling from almost dying. And she's just like looking to lash out. And I just think like it was so unnecessarily cruel.
Especially since he was the one that saved her.
Yeah.
He was also the one that killed the only person that ever cared about her up until a point.
Yeah, but at that point
he didn't have any control then. Like, it's been explained. And I know that's still hard to forgive, but she doesn't seem to like take that into account. Like, he's done more Oh, thank you, Pia.
If that helps you locate it.
Oh, I had that a minute
She says,
ago.
yeah, not too far past that. The rings. We need to talk about the rings next. We are really all over the place, and I apologize. It's chaos.
Or what? Yeah. I do like the
He
when they're
really
saying
did
about
try and
the
do a redemption arc, though. Like, he tried to do everything in his power to make
Oh,
sure
I've
they
just
got
found
rid
it.
of Oseron.
Page 472. Quotes on 473.
Yeah, that's the page I'm on, actually. I'm just trying to find it.
It's about level with the...
Yes, here we go. So he says, the rings will bind our power, he said slowly, but you can break the connection whenever you want, whereas I will be tethered to the spell. A cruel smile cut across Lila's face. She clicked her tongue. Can't go a day without chaining yourself to someone, can you? He was on her in an instant, his fingers wrapped around her throat and her knife against his. Kel threw up his hands in exasperation.
Can you just...
It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, I just like that whole bit.
Hold on. You missed the bit though. Jasta called out a warning about getting blood on her ship, and a second blade came to rest below Holland's jaw. And I love that it's Alucard.
She didn't give a shit later, though, did she?
No.
She's murdering everyone, the bitch.
But yeah, the rings are so cool. Like the fact that
she does feel bad about it,
Alucard.
though.
Yeah, she does feel bad.
Yeah.
I think she was just lashing out. But it's just such a shame that she chose Holland to lash out at, because we know how much she's suffered.
Yeah.
And I know she feels barren, but then she finds out that Athos literally had like control of his body and his like.
I don't think she fully knew.
I think
Kel
did
knew. Her, but I don't think Lila really.
Maybe.
And obviously, by that point, we have seen the level of torture that he has gone through.
Yeah.
She has no clue.
Yeah.
I can understand her seeing him as just being somebody that likes to tether himself to the most powerful person at the time.
Yeah.
And that is the kind of person she hates as well. Like, she very much wants to be a free agent, not dependent on anything else. So, like, I do think, I mean, the whole way through, I think she overdoes it with Holland in the first place. Like, even when she tries to kill him in the cell, like, it's like, really? Like, really?
Yeah.
Take it down a notch.
Kel's definitely told her that Athos, like, forced him and had control of him.
I don't think she was in a place to forgive that, regardless of how much that is true.
I think she's got a bloody hard neck. With the amount of people that she has killed or maimed, she's got a bloody hard neck.
He calls her out for that, doesn't he? Because he says, I remember every person I've killed. Do you?
Do you?
Yeah.
I love that at one point
she starts to forgive him. Well, not necessarily forgive, but like
move on. I love the fact that he was like, how many have you killed? And is it 3 until but I'm sure it was 3 until the Danes, 64 during the Danes, and then whatever. Yeah. And the fact that he can name them and tell them why, and the pair of them are like Lila could do that. There's no way she could do that. But yeah, I love the fact that Alucard's magic spotted the rings, and they didn't understand the rings until he went to take up split it, and then thought he'd lost them in his pocket, and then they were back to one ring again.
Yeah.
And then when they tried to use them the first time, obviously they stole Cal's power. So then I just love that Holland tried to do a redemption arc as much as he could. Like, he didn't ask them to forgive him. He didn't try and tell people that he had to, other than obviously getting to Oseron. Like, we know he said, he's mine, fuck off, Cal. Yeah. But it's not even his London. And he's still trying to make his London better by helping other Londons. He's still trying to redeem himself even after all the shit he's been through.
I think it's not, he doesn't really care what the others think of them. He's trying to redeem himself to himself. Because him and Vortalis, they had things were going pretty good until fucking the Dane twins came along and ruined everything. They were trying their best, they were trying to make it a good place. And that's all he wanted, was just to try and help White London. That's all he wanted to do. And he's obviously not gone about it the best way, but he had good intentions. And I think, like you said earlier, Andy, he's right to kind of be angry at Red London because they did shut the doors all those years ago. And they were the ones that reopened them as well. You know,
Yeah.
with like they're the ones that kind of opened those lines of communication and kind of started all this anyway. And he has obviously done what he's done to try and help his London. It's massively backfired. I don't think he'd really care if Red London was getting destroyed rather than White London, because his goal is to save his London, which, I mean, I think most of us would be similar. Like if your world was dying at the expense of another one, you'd probably be like, huh.
But then that's exactly what the Red London,
exactly,
whoever closed the gates, closed the doors, that's what they were doing. So it's that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think he's just he's like, do you know what? I've not gone about this the way that I should have done. I know what I was trying to achieve. This has massively backfired. I can't let Oseron continue going out because he's just going to destroy all the worlds.
Yeah.
So
because he will find a way to go between them all.
Yeah.
That's more what he's doing. But I think that's I think he has a really solid character arc because he goes from being like a puppet and he's kind of being used until he stands and he puts his life on the line to fix it. And I think he's just a great character. I love sorry.
Holland. His flashbacks like made me so sad.
I do. To be fair, he does also kind of annoy me with that because his solution to everything is, well, then I'll just sacrifice myself. And it's like, look, if you could not focus on that for just 1 second, maybe we'll get something done. Like, if you can figure out a way to do it without dying, maybe think about it that way.
Let me have my moment.
And ironically, the one thing he could have done to not have caused all this trouble was die when Kel thought he killed him.
The one death that would have saved almost everything else.
Yeah.
I think it was only a matter of time before Oseron probably managed to get himself through. It would have been some dumb Antari that was like, I'm going to investigate Black London.
Yeah, unfortunately, nobody did it on purpose. Or fortunately, like it wasn't done as with somebody who was just blindly going, I've found something from Black, let's go. It was genuinely a let's return this so it doesn't get out of hand, which then got really fucking out of hand.
Yep. Just don't tell anybody about it. Put it somewhere secure.
Oh, my favourite thing were messages from Pia about Lila hating horses.
No, I was messaging.
I hadn't even read it yet, and all I knew was that Lila hated horses in book 3.
I kept messaging saying that Lila hating horses was reminding me of Pia, because Pia fucking hates horses. It's like every time I'd like send her a photo of the quote.
Oh, see, I didn't have that because it wasn't in the chat that I was listening to, that I was in. But I wonder if I can find.
It's like nothing that big had any right to be that powerful. Or that autonomous. So she just hated horses. I think it's really funny.
It's actually hilarious.
It's just...
Oh, I don't know.
I did feel really bad. Like, there were so many times I was just like, I wished, like, when they were taking Holland onto the boat with them when he was on the horse with Alucard, and I was like, will somebody please, or when he was in the cell after being, like, beaten and stuff, I was like, will somebody, like, Kel, just heal him, please. Like...
Yeah, so the 2 quotes she sent was, Delilah Bard did not like horses, gal after my own heart. And nothing with so little brain should have so much force. Somebody could get to me.
That was it. So much
it was just so funny, like, because it was genuinely before I'd started reading it, and I was like, all right, okay, cool, I know that's coming, but literally hearing it in the book was just funny.
I think it's funny. It's just very funny.
Oh, I'm assuming Bye. Alice has gone.
Bye.
Bye. I felt vindicated. That's fair, Pia. Which of the things that they took off of the ship do you like the sound of the most? So the rings, the doodad thingy that I still can't pronounce properly to get the power.
Hera.
And that was Lila's, that was Cal's.
The mirror.
The mirror
No.
that Alucard took.
I liked that he took that because he could have, like, he knows that he could have gone to Rye and told him the truth and that he may not be believed because he grew up in a household where he'd get sort of brushed off for that, not realising that Rye didn't need that to believe him. Kel probably did, but Rye did not. He was like, look, I don't...
Although, in Kel's defence, he accepted his explanation pretty quickly on the boat when they were on the ship.
Yeah.
Because he was going to be like, walk away, and Alucard was like, I haven't even said anything yet. And he's like, oh, it'll be something stupid. And then he told him, he was like, I still don't like you. I was like, well, at least he's honest.
But I felt like it almost ended up as one of those friendships where they say they don't like each other.
But they actually do.
It was like a grudging friendship by the end. Like, neither of them would say they were friends. Like, it would never come out of their mouths, but they're going to be brothers-in-law, you know what I mean? Like, they both want the best for Rye, and they're both what is best for Rye in different forms.
They just antagonize each other.
It's kind of like the opposite kind of sibling relationship to what Rye and Kel have, where it's like, I'm allowed to hurt him, but if you hurt him, we're going to have an issue. Or the bit as well where they come back, and Alucard's like, you told me if I arrived home and did not kill your brother,
I could have.
But no, I think the Inheritor obviously is something they needed to go and get. The rings, again, are something that I would love a backstory on. Because that's interesting. How many could you use it for? Were entirely used as like some kind of weapon in war? Like,
I was wondering if there was like a one Antari per London at a time, like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer equivalent.
They used to be less rare. They did say that.
Yeah, but just because less rare doesn't mean that there was like a whole like bloodline of them.
No,
was
but
it bloodline?
There used to be quite a few of them, but then they started killing them all off because of the Black Eye. They thought it was linked to Black London, so they started killing them off. But it makes you wonder why there hasn't been any born for like a while. I wonder whether we might get more.
Yeah, I want to know if it's blood related as well, because if so...
No, it's not.
It's not.
Oh, Cal and Lila's kid would have been...
True, you don't know if two Antari have had a child.
Because I know magic isn't, but Antari isn't necessarily magic.
Lenos' grandmother was an Antari.
Oh, yeah, I loved that little moment.
Which is funny because the way he used to be scared of Lila, I think he knew that she was an Antari, but knew that she didn't know and was scared of her because it's like, she does not know what she can do.
She doesn't know her own power.
Or how to control said power. I'm not telling her she's got it.
Yeah. But he knew, or maybe his grandmother was just a terrifying woman.
I mean, it could be either, let's face it.
But at the same time, he carried around that token, which makes me feel like there was a connection.
Yeah. Is it not a Black London token as well? Am I thinking of the right one?
No, it was her blood.
Blood.
Her blood in a...
Which protected him from the fog mist.
Yeah. And also didn't get wiped off or dissipate or anything like that.
No. Going back to the beginning, we are kind of all over the place, but that's fine. Going back to the beginning,
I don't expect anything else from Alive with Us anymore.
When they were trying to like provide help for the people, and Kel was like, bearing in mind he'd just gone through all of that in White London, and he was just like, I'm just gonna just go out here and try and help everyone, and like almost collapsed, and Lila was like, okay, enough's enough, and he's like, no, I can still do it, and then made like the blood rain. I was like,
yeah,
if anybody doubts that Kel loves his London, loves his people, that is like, him and Rye both showed it so much in this book, because Rye's like, well, it can't hurt me, so I'm going to just ride out and try and find people all the time, and was finding all like the silvers and stuff.
The silvers are so cool. I need more of them in Threads of Power. If we don't have silvers in Threads of Power.
I also love that when Kel finds out that Alucard like got over it, he was like, oh, it would be fucking you, wouldn't it? Yeah. Of course you would manage to fight.
Oh. I love that as soon as they realised that they were like able to not to be immune, that they just kept like trying to find people. And like there was that bit where one of the can't remember if it was a soldier or just somebody was like saying, "Oh, he's up in the castle safe," and they were like, "Fucking shut up! He has been out here hunting for people to save all night. Like he has not slept. Fuck off."
Speak Ryan Maresh's name with respect.
Also, it was cool that it was Lila that gave that speech, because at the beginning she was like, "Oh, little princeling, oh, I bet you like really, oh, what a sad life," and now she's like, "No, fuck off. He's like been through a lot and he's really trying to help people. You shut the fuck up."
I love Lila.
Yeah.
And Cal. And Rye and Alucard and Holland.
Out so much. Like Kel is very unwilling to like kill and hurt people and stuff like that, and Lila's just like,
let me at them.
Come on. Yeah.
Only 3 of you?
I can kill him.
Even with the ship and stuff like that, like the guys with the knives on the knife tattoos. Sorry.
You went for Maltesers, didn't you? Like, that sounded like Maltesers.
Yeah. She's like, that's the last time I leave an entire crew of a ship that I've just robbed alive.
Yeah.
Next time we kill them all.
Death to all.
And Kel's like, yeah.
And this man willingly got on a boat with her as his captain. He needs help.
Honestly,
it's so funny. I love it so much.
As well about Rye going out in his armor and like walking amongst them while they were sleeping, and it's like he was talking to them even though he didn't know if they could hear him, and it's like, and it became like a myth, but it was so distant that it sort of faded out. I love Rye.
He's such a good boy. That's why Amira's death really affected me this time, because he thought he'd saved her. And it went straight through and just far enough to kill her as well. And it's so sad, because he was like giving his speech and he like killed Cole and he thought he'd saved her, and then he turns around and
Cole's like, "But you should be dead." And he's like, "Yeah, tell me about it."
Yeah.
And like, haven't you heard? I'm already dead. Like, yes. And then obviously
yeah. And then like literally like an hour later, his dad's like, "Okay, off on my suicide mission. Beat my child, make him stay here. Bye."
But smart.
That's smart.
No, it was mean. I was not okay, and I was live. Like, my reactions are physically saved on the interwebs.
But, I mean, I feel like it was unnecessary what he did, because in the long run it didn't really do anything. But
he thought
the idea was brilliant.
It was really. I think that's what made it like sad, because his death ultimately didn't really achieve anything, and it made me really sad because he thought that he was doing this big sacrifice and it was going to save everyone, and it
did not.
It did not.
Not gonna lie, for a while I thought and Tari were all related and we were going to go down a weird Lake and Leia route. Yeah, see, this is where I thought, but I'm really glad that they didn't.
Oh no.
Well, no. Oh no.
I still want to know about Kel's parents.
And Lila's parents.
I have so many questions about Kel's parents. And the
Who
like
are
the memory spell and
yeah, what the fuck went on with that memory spell? Like the fact that he can't remember beforehand and she had seen him before.
Yeah.
That really tells you that he didn't want to remember. Like, his life was so good that he didn't want it to be different, so the spell did not deactivate, and then he made that choice to not find out. Like, that to me is a big thing.
He found his family.
Adoptive kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, he found his brother. He didn't give a shit.
But that would never have happened had he not had that moment that you were talking about, Jim, with Amira.
Yeah.
He probably would have immediately been like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
But because he knows that his family are the Maresh and that they love him, he doesn't need another family. The family that gave him up. The family that didn't want him. Although I think he was probably just like taken by the crown, to be perfectly honest.
My heart's so sad again, guys.
I was just looking at Maxim's death. and the kind
what
of
page we on?
Well, I'm on page 547. There's a couple of like moments in that section that really kind of show it's
I love that that's literally 2 pages after the start of a chapter, like, or a book, but
so on that, the first thing that I was like, okay, he's redeeming himself, was when he said, only its eyes seem solid and the glossy black of polished stone, like Kel's, thought Maxim, and then he revoked the thought. No, not like Kel's at all. Kel's gaze had the warmth of a flame, while Oseron's eyes were sharp and cold and utterly inhuman. And it made me kind of think like, oh, he's remembering like the good things about Kel finally. And then when he was like so defiant in the end, and he's like going like he's talking back to Oseron and everything, and then he knows it's going to be the end, and his like final kind of thoughts are Amira, Rai, Kel, and it just made me really happy that he didn't like just go Amira, Rai, like he still included Kel. He remembered that they were family at the end, and like that's those 3 names are like his final thought almost. And I just thought that was I was really glad that that kind of got included, because it did kind of show that in the end he maybe was second guessing the things that he'd done and remembering that they were a family and why they were a family. And that, I think that was really important.
But this as well is also what I was saying about Maxim. The last time the whole thing about him being the Steel Prince, and I think in that scene as well, because he goes out basically with no armor on either. Like he's not just the Steel Prince in that he can manipulate metal. He has had to literally like steel himself. He has had to put on this sort of metaphorical armor to keep everybody at arm's length, because he is quite clearly in love. Like he very much loves Amira and Rai and Kel, but he feels like she has distanced herself because she's so afraid. So he's had to like take on that burden and block himself off from feeling that, so that he can be an effective king. He's had to be more strict with Rai because obviously he's not got magic. So he has to toughen him up as a leader, not as a magician. And then with Kel, there's that whole dichotomy of they raised him like a son and then changed how they behaved around him. Yeah. And he has had to distance himself and seal himself off so much from his family to be the king. Like he has to choose, and Rai realizes that as well. You need to choose to be the king or to be yourself.
Yeah,
the 2 are not compatible. And in the end, he goes out completely stripped of that, and he puts the steel to his guards.
Yeah.
I love that Oseron was like, let me have your guards kill you. You can try.
Yeah. Like he literally like externalizes that steel persona to these guards and goes out as himself. Like he goes out as like, these are my people, I'm here to look after my people, rather than like
a king should be with his people.
Yeah.
And a prince should be with his king.
That did actually, yeah, that was.
Hold on. I mean,
this book made me so emotional.
Can we talk about how like sacrificing yourself is like a family trait? Because Maxim dies, and then the 4 days is up, and he's like, "Well, that hour marks the 4 days that Rai left, that Kel left." And he said I could get myself into trouble after that, so I'm going to march over and face this guy by myself.
Knock on his door and be like, "Look, you."
Listen, this has gone far enough.
Stop.
Enough blood has been shed.
I love that. But that's really fun. And then they find out that they can't move on the boats. I do think is that like kind of jump into something more like funny. Like Rai and Kel can feel each other's anything physical that happens to the other. Which means, because obviously we see when it first happens and he feels the scratches on Rai's back and he goes to rescue him and he's actually just,
I
just in my head, when the scene is happening with Lila and Kel in the boat, Rye's just like, on you go. Like,
your turn now.
Yeah.
He's probably sitting there going like, no, it's fine. I mean, London is literally on fire, but you get your way, brother. That's absolutely fine. I'll just
This
wait.
is how you're spending your 4 days. Really? 4 days?
There's not much to do on a boat.
See, I see him as like being like, finally, the man lets his hair down.
Imagine when it's going to be the other way around. Kel will be like, no!
Get away from my brother! I feel you hurting him. Stop!
Can you? And the fact that he knows it'll be Alucard as well.
Exactly. God, I'd rather be dead.
Oh, that's
so funny though. Like Lila and Alucard having like silent bets to see who can piss the other person off more without telling the brothers.
Oh, and they would 100% make it a competition.
Oh, totally.
It wouldn't even be bets. It would just be like, I see where you've set the bar. Now watch me absolutely smash it out.
I wonder, because obviously with Kel's power being decreased by the end, does that mean that there's like some sort of disturbance in the connection that doesn't allow that?
Well, I think that something, obviously, I don't think it will disturb the connection because it's a life bond, and it wasn't necessarily done by Kel, it was done by the Blackstone, so by pure magic. So I don't think him kind of like lessening his magic, because he's still got it, so it's not like he's not cut off from it just hurts him to use. So I don't think it's going to like affect that side of it, but I am looking forward to kind of exploring that more in Threads of Power, because Lila's already picked up that there's something wrong
and that she's now stronger.
She says like he's not well. He won't admit it yet. So I'm looking forward to kind of when that gets discussed and to see like how Kel comes to terms with that, because he's gone from being like the strongest person to he can still use his magic, but he has to prepare himself to fucking hurt every time he does it, which is really shit. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that's kind of like.
And then Lila's using it to just be a kinky bitch.
Yeah, which is very Lila.
It is very Lila.
Yeah.
I think
it
was such
about the bits that got released today. Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't read them yet. I need to go read them.
Go on her Instagram and read them. You will not be
It's literally just like, it's a tiny bit, but it's just like, it's
very exciting.
It is almost exactly
I've
like.
forgotten now.
It says in the thing it's the kind of echo of when they first met.
Yeah.
Like, remember when we first met? And he's like, "Don't you dare!" Too late.
Too late.
I'm just surprised there was no knives involved.
I mean, we only saw a small section. Who knows what's going to...
If V. Schwab wrote Smoot, you know that Lila would like knife play.
Oh yeah, she'd love it. She'd be all over it.
Are you reading it now?
Hell yeah. Fuck you two. 2 minutes. I'll be back in a sec. Just so we can talk about it. It's obviously fourth book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Jem, right? Jem, see this? This is Alucard, right?
I was wondering the same thing.
I was
the same thing. I think.
Because look at the ponytail.
Yeah, I don't know though. I thought it might be Holland.
I said Holland to start with.
True.
Andy looked up. Andy literally went into the book and got a description of Holland to prove me wrong, thinking it was Holland. And her answer was Alucard.
I also saw fan art of Rye, and he had curly hair, and I was like, Rye does not have curly hair. Thank you very much. Rye has very, very straight hair.
He has a little cape on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
because the second one is definitely Lila. And the first one's obviously Kel. I would make sense for it to be Holland, but I think it's Alucard. Because I don't think it's to do with the Antari. I think it's to do with the main characters.
It looks very much like the cape that Holland's wearing in this acrylic, though. Oh, isn't it? Oh, it's not really a cape.
He's got a half cape.
He's just got fancy sleeves.
Holland wears a half cape. It only covers one side.
Yeah.
Not both sides.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because Alucard's got the little ponytail at the back with the blue ribbon.
Yeah. I have to say, if it is Alucard, I find that an odd choice.
I don't. I think that makes perfect sense.
I'm not sure that I don't know.
I think it's Holland on the other cover.
No, I think that's Kel and Lila.
Yeah, it's definitely Callum.
The white on the throne. No, like the alternative cover for A Conjuring of Light, like the one that you have in the picture for tonight's live jam.
Yeah.
You know, the black floor with the white and the throne.
The nice white editions, yeah.
The throne version.
Oh, yeah.
Also, that's a mean snippet to share. Where's the rest of it? Mean.
What covers are? Hang on. No. Okay. They're still the same.
I see what you mean. Yeah, I think that probably. I mean, it's Ossaron wearing Holland.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That is 100% Lila.
Oh yeah.
And that's
the one
Shadows.
A Gathering of Shadows for the UK version as well also has her with the two knives. So that's how you know it's Lila.
Yeah. Hang on, this is really right. That's 100% Kel.
Yeah.
So we know those two for sure. Wow, what amazing English.
How did you type your question into Google?
A Conjureth of Woot. Walt cover.
Well done.
Yeah, I agree. I think on that one it's
Otheron / Holland.
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Can I? I know I can. Hold on. Let me share this. I just found.
See, someone said Rye, but I do not believe it's Rye.
No, because the hand looks like
no, they're talking about the other cover. Sorry.
Oh. No, I don't think so. I did look for a second and I was like, well, maybe it could be Rye, but I don't think it is. It looks too much like.
They're talking about the American covers, the ones with that we're seeing as Ossaron.
Yeah, I think it looks too much like Ossaron in Holland than it does. It looks way more like them than Rye, yeah.
I don't know if this is going to be big enough. Let me present. So I just found pictures of the Illumicrate.
Oh.
So I'm assuming this is Lila.
Yes, that's Alucard.
An Alucard.
100%, yeah.
And then, hold on, because they're on different pictures. 2 seconds. And then, Ossaron.
Can you zoom in a bit? Can't really see it. I reckon, no, that's Rye.
I would say that's Rye.
That's Ryan. That's Holland.
This one, Holland?
Yeah.
The white, yeah.
The black is around him is Ossaron, I think, trying to get him. That's definitely
Rye with a crown.
Yeah.
And then last one. Let me see if I can. Oh, this zoomed in so far because I love this one. If I can get the right equivalent.
I do love as well, like this, like through these two books, you really see Rye grow up as well.
Oh,
So,
God,
like,
yeah.
I think this is the Dane twins.
Dane twins, yeah.
Yeah. And that's Kel.
And that wee ginger fucker's obviously Kel.
The wee ginger boy.
I love that he's so opposite to the Maresh family as well.
Yeah.
Like the Maresh family was stuff like the darker skin and the dark straight hair. I think the Maresh are probably most likely Middle Eastern.
Yeah, because they've said they have dark hair and yeah.
And then Kel's like.
But like, I also just realized there's a share this tab instead button. I sorry guys. But like, look how pretty Rye is.
I know.
So pretty. And like,
they're beautiful, aren't they?
Let me turn over this one because now that I've zoomed in, look at how pretty Alucard is.
See the little ponytail.
Yeah, you're right. It's a ponytail.
The little ponytail.
And the little ship.
Yeah. The Night Spire.
I just love that she's upside down.
That's like, I know, obviously. The S and Tash.
Yeah. Oh.
With the horns.
So yeah.
Well, we only have like 8 months to wait now before Threads of Power.
We have.
I might be ready for it by then.
Do we have enough books to fill that time? Because I'm gonna have to wait for actually wait with people for Schwab books.
Both of you have got enough books to keep you going until then.
Well, I mean, I have books to keep me going far until the end of time.
Genuinely thought I was going to get yeeted out of there.
Just not saying anything to you. I'm supposed to be my best friend.
But this is how I show my love. You know this.
I do.
Even if we are not reading it for Schwabalong, I will be dropping everything to read it as soon as it comes out.
Oh yeah, I've been looking forward to this for so long.
I'm going to be attempting to. Oh my god! Sorry, I've just found something else to share. I did not see this Illumicrate box when it came out. I apologize if you guys have seen it. I am very sad now seeing what's in this that I did not see this. Look at Luke.
I know.
Oh yeah.
I was too poor to get it.
I want that.
I wanted that blanket so much, but everyone was selling it for crazy prices.
What's the blanket behind you? Is that
This was a gift from Lisa. It's from Redbubble.
Is it a Dark Shade Magic?
Yeah.
I've just got a fairly upsetting message from Pia.
Oh.
There's going to be 2 more Twilight books.
Pia.
No. I couldn't even read the first one because I was like, I can't read this woman's writing. It's just trash.
Do
you know what?
The host staring at each other.
The Host is actually a very good book.
Oh no, I couldn't get through the first one. I tried. I bought. Oh, so I know I didn't read that either. I bought the first 3 Twilight books, convinced I was gonna really like them because I was like, whoop, whoop, all aboard the hype train rather. And then I was like, my brain hurts from trying to figure out what she's trying to say.
I read them and liked them enough at the point that they were out. I now know about the author and how shit she is, and I will not read anything else by her ever. I have sold my copies. You could not make me buy them.
She's not as bad as some other authors, to be fair.
No, she is super shit. She is super shit. But anyway, Schwab is not shit. Let's go back to talking about Schwab. So, favorite character on the spot, go.
Kel. I mean, it would be pretty shit if I didn't say Kel, having just said he's one of my favourites of all time, and I have him on my arm.
Yeah.
I love the
No,
tattoo you have
Lila-
on your arm. I'm impressed you
Lila-
haven't held it up once in any of the 3 live shows.
I've been very reserved.
Now is the
Lila,
time.
Lila is very much my favourite character. She's just...
Is that the right one? Is it your right? Or is it your left?
Well, actually, funnily enough, I have a Dark Shade of Magic tattoos on both.
Oh.
So I have Kel's on this one, and this is from the first book.
Is that your left or your right, though? Because I can never tell if you're mirrored.
This is my left.
Okay,
and then on
so
my right, I have a Lila Bard quote, which says "one adventure at a time."
Don't you have an Ash Travaris tattoo?
No, maybe I should get one.
Somebody's got an Ash Travaris tattoo.
Not me. I've got a supernatural tattoo to protect me from the demons.
I was tempted to
It
get
will
that.
save you getting your eyes ripped out, apparently.
Yeah. No demons getting in here. My leg is protecting me at all times.
Unless they
Love
cut the
that.
skin off.
This is a no touching zone.
I was going to go for unless they cut your leg off, but she went for, like, gory. I was just thinking amputation.
I went for it happened already. To someone else.
We didn't talk about it. It's insane. And protect me and keep this from me.
I actually don't know who my favorite character is. I love
But you asked the question,
literally
so you have to answer it, I'm afraid.
almost everyone.
You have to make a decision right now.
Probably Cal. With Lila and Rai as 2 and 3.
I thought you were just going to be like, Cal, with Lila and Rai and Alucard and Holland.
Favorite side character.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, I wouldn't list the Dane twins in there. There would be
good.
some that I didn't list.
Good.
Although they are good villains.
Yeah.
Like
they are fucking creepy villains, but yes, they are good villains.
Yeah.
Like there's no, like, if you ever wondered if evil exists, even Oseron would have been like,
damn, bitch!
I'm going to take myself back to Black London. You just carry on.
Why do you think this is a little extreme?
Can you imagine him trying to go in and, like, actually take over one of them, though? Like, he'd be like, ugh, fuck that shit.
Yeah, he'd be like, okay, I'm just going to stay over there. Yeah, I think my favourite... Who's your favourite side character?
Probably Hastra.
Hastra, yeah.
Hastra. I was literally thinking, do I put anybody above him? The only side character that isn't, like, continually around that I would say even gets anywhere close to him is Golden Retriever. Cinnamon Roll, Golden Retriever. They are my 2 favourite, like, side characters.
Wait, who's the...
Ned.
Ned.
He means Ned.
Ned. I don't... Ned annoys me. Ned is one of those people... Ned is one of those people that would accidentally summon a demon.
He just wants magic, Andy.
He
just wants magic.
He would 100% accidentally, like, summon a demon and just be like, I don't know what to do now.
You can't touch me. I've got salt.
When things go wrong, like, he immediately, his first thought is to, like, call for Kel. And then he's like, well, I guess I'm going to have to deal with it on my own. Like,
how do I deal with it on my own?
Bless him with his little chants and his, like, holy water and shit.
Like, just leave it well enough alone. Jesus, woman.
I think that anyone that says Hastra is not their favourite side character is lying. Because Hastra is, like, a sweet, innocent little baby who put himself...
Yes, it is Pia. Just an FYI.
To protect everyone.
Infuriated me. It absolutely infuriated me when he did that. Because I'm like, I understand you're meant to be his guard. I understand that. But he will heal. You do not.
He took his role very seriously. He was a good boy. He was a good boy for that, but he was a good boy.
Like, he will heal. You will not. Just don't. I hate that.
But then maybe if it was straight to the heart, he wouldn't have healed. because there wouldn't be any time. It's hard to kill an Antari, but maybe it's not impossible.
After
Well,
what
they've
he
said
went
it's
through
not
in White
impossible.
London,
Yeah, but
Yes,
in
he
White
died
London,
during
it was
something
never
different.
to his heart. And like, if you're saying he can't kill himself, if Lila is far enough away, maybe she couldn't get to him in time if it was through his heart. So maybe Hastra, baby boy,
he
did
was
actually.
also, they were linked at that point, weren't they? I just
Who's
don't
Yes.
believe Hastra
Who's
wasn't,
it?
and it's always bloody men that do this as well.
What was
I
that,
will
Jen?
sacrifice myself for you.
Yeah,
No, think it. Do something logical.
I just watched an episode of Teen Wolf
In the-
where Derek Hale did it, and I was like, can you
Oh.
not?
Also,
Derek
the fact
knows
that it happened twice because Rye did it as well.
Yeah. And
But one worked
only
and
one
one
time
didn't.
to-
If I had a nickel for every time this happened, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot. But it's weird that it happened twice. Yeah, but Rye knew he couldn't die, and he knew that Kel wouldn't mind the stabby stab for saving. But the fact
Mama bear.
oh my god! But the
Well,
fact
he's totally
that
chill.
Rye jumping in front of it and in front of that sword to save Amira was just as effective as his dad sacrificing himself for Red London.
Yeah, the Maxim family, the Maresh family,
Yeah.
not really doing well on the whole.
Oh no!
Can I just point something out?
What?
You're
Okay.
probably either just as or more loud than me, and you complain that I'm loud all the time.
Freaking out.
No, like anytime you're on chat with these guys, you're downstairs.
Sorry, Kay.
Oh no, it's fine. I just want it to be known that I'm not the only loud one. I would think Douglas he's loud too.
I appreciate that. I feel that so much.
I would. Do you think you would watch this if they made it into a movie or a TV show?
Yes,
Hell yes.
Anyway, yeah.
without a moment's hesitation. And it has been sold. The rights have been sold, but it's been that way for a very long time. And
I'm wondering if they're waiting for Threads of Power so they can figure out so they don't like veer off into something that they can't undo.
Yeah.
What, like a Game of Thrones situation?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, this is a finished series, so as long as they just like stick to this, it would be fine. Threads of Power is not a following series, so it would be okay.
I wonder who they would
finish Game of Thrones.
I wonder who they would cast. Like, I don't have anybody in mind that I would cast.
I would quite like them to cast like more unknown people.
Yeah.
And make it like a really even casting.
Yeah, nobody like major.
Yeah.
I just had a flash on my mind of them casting Alucard, but it's Matt Smith. Like he's just appears on the deck of the ship with his little ponytail. Like,
no,
I don't hate it.
I know.
I don't hate it.
Yeah,
he's too old, but I don't hate it.
But Alucard's not got white skin.
No, but I just like he's meant to be this like charming, sexy character, and then it's Matt Smith.
I know.
I think like the little boy that's playing Grover in the Percy Jackson as an adult playing Rye.
I don't think that is. Sorry.
He would be good as Rye. I'm just trying to think of like a really ginger celebrity, and I think Lila should be
making kisses.
I mean, they could dye his hair, or he can wear a wig.
Yeah. Have you read Loath to Love Me? Loath to Love You, whatever it's called.
No.
No, not yet.
Because one of the characters is ginger, but like there's a point made that she's like ginger. And it's like one of the other things is like, oh yeah, he's my cousin, but he's kind of weird because he's not that ginger. And the other character's like, are you kidding? The fucking guy's got carrot hair. Like, she's like, yeah, he's not that ginger. And that's...
It's weird because all of the like ginger actors that are out there are like older, so they wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Like I have some amazing people that I love seeing in movies, and they're ginger, but they wouldn't work.
Oh my god, you know if they did this like 10 years ago, they would have cast Robert Pattinson as Kel.
No.
The way I would have thrown hands if that happened. I'd be like, listen.
The guy who played Ozzy in Buffy would have been better. At least he's like sarcastic and like cheeky and charming, but like even he's not great. Like he's not right either, but like he would have been better than Robert Pattinson.
I think Chloe Grace Moretz wouldn't be too bad for Lila.
She isn't what I picture at all. I don't know who I picture though.
Well, before we kind of like, because I don't know if anyone else has got many other thoughts. I feel like we've covered quite a lot, but before we kind of like wrap it up,
I am emotionally damaged. That is my only statement I need to make sure you guys have picked up on.
I have a question.
Okay.
Out of all the characters in the trilogy, who was your least favourite? Not most favourite, least favourite.
Athos Dane.
Okay, fair, because he's an asshole. Get it? But still adds a lot to the story.
It was they were well written.
Yeah,
they were well written. I mean, I'm not saying like I don't see where he's coming from or what his point was. Like, I think it'd be really easy to say that Oseron's the least favorite character because he's like a bigger villain in general than the Danes were. But I feel like the Danes were sadistic and like specifically mean, where Oseron wanted a world. He wanted to be out of a black place that he couldn't leave. As much as it's different than them wanting to save red or white or grey, it's not. He killed his world and he wanted to take two. The Danes were just shit people in general. Like, they were sadistic for the fact of pleasure.
Yeah.
Without this, like, the sexual fun. Like, they just genuinely, like, they had a pile of people die just so that they could prove that they could control him to kill people. Like,
yes.
Mine is probably going to get me a glare.
From who?
I'm thinking Jem, but maybe my least favourite character.
As long as it's not Kelly.
Who?
Jannar.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If I had to think of a character who was the most, like, I'm saying this in the character that was in the story enough that I feel like they were too flat.
Okay. Yeah.
Because Kissimir you get a bit more of.
Yeah.
Love
Kissimir. Like the crew and stuff you get a bit more background on. But even like I was saying, Maris, you get a lot, like you get that feeling that she's a full character. Jannar just seemed very one-dimensional, but I don't know if that was intentional because he was part of that order that leaned into having one ability, and everything about him was all about that ability. So
I like that.
He just fell a bit flat for me. Like when he died, I was just like, "What did you expect?"
Yeah.
Kissimir is stronger than you. What are you going to do? Flutter his eyelashes with some wind? Get out! Like, I just didn't have.
Sorry, I can't remember if this is this book or the last book, and I don't think I mentioned it in the last live show, but you saying flutter your eyelashes has made me think of it. Who was the guy that floated? Was that Jannar?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So I can't remember if we mentioned this in the last one, but him floating around the bar to try and impress people was fucking hilarious. Like, I can't remember if I mentioned that because we were talking about so much stuff last time, but I literally was in hysterics because I could just picture them, like, at different points. So obviously, they're both there in different disguises. They don't know that Lila and Kel are both there. But I can just picture them both being like, the fuck is he doing? Like,
He's the kind of person that I would trip as they go past me.
How would you trip him? He's in the air.
I'd find a way.
Just gonna like boot him in the butt and like kick him over.
I just felt like he was the most two-dimensional character.
That is a fair point. Very fair observation. I think you're right in that. Like, he's definitely, out of all of the kind of people in the Essen Tash that we kind of spend a bit of time with, he's definitely the one with like the least kind of character building, I guess. So yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. Mine would be Beres is that how you say his name? Alucard's brother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because he's just a homophobic asshole.
Yep.
That is his whole character. I'm an asshole who hates anybody that's not straight. That's
and I am higher up the hierarchy than you are, so you need to shut up and bow down.
It very much is like a nobleman.
Sorry?
He is very much just a typical nobleman.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a shame because, like, everybody kind of accepts it for Rye. And it's like, we were saying, like, it's so good that, like, no one cares. And then we find out that there are still some people that do. And I kind of hate him because he's, like, the face of it. And he, like, dogged his brother into his dad, knowing exactly how his dad would react. So I'm kind of like, I almost wish that his dad had found out on his own. And the course of events could still have happened. Because then at least with his dad being dead, he could have just, like, come home and seen his sister. But there's just this arsehole
in the way.
Yeah. So I hate him. He's my least favourite. I would kick him in the nuts
That
repeatedly.
is very fair.
Steel cap toe.
But this is a kind of world as well where I don't think anybody would have really blinked an eye if he accidentally turned up dead, and you know. Yeah. So if I was like, I would. This is why Lila is my favourite character. Characters like Beres, it's just like, cool. So I am going to drown you while you're standing up in a body of water.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tight it here. I'm going to force the water down in your lungs. Wait until you're slowly dying. Pull it back out again.
And he's got a whole plan.
I have a whole plan. Like, this is why Lila's my favourite character, because
so
her
basically,
what
we're saying is Jem is not the serial killer, it's Andy.
I've been telling you.
No. I would never be a serial killer because killing people is too easy and it's too quick.
Gotta make them suffer. But I think the main reason why Beres is my least favourite character is because obviously he's not the worst person in these books. Athos and Astrid don't exist. He's not the worst person, but I feel like they were more like fleshed out for me to get like their motives. They are a product of their London. They've been brought up to believe that power is everything, magic is everything. You've got to be strong to survive, and it's twisted them. Oseron is magic,
the product of his London.
Beres is just a dick.
Yeah.
He's the most realistic to our world kind of dick.
That's why.
Although George, the prince that became the king in Grey London.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate him.
Do you have any tabs on him? Would you know where to find them?
No. Probably just when he ran away scared at the end, because I enjoyed that. Like, run, bitch.
That's one of the things that immediately made me love Kel. The fact that that again shows like how the Maresh family raised him. He went to George and he was kind, and he was genuinely upset when he died. Like, he was kind to him despite the fact that he had no real power. And it's the same as Rye. In Rye's world, he has no real power other than the fact that he is, been trained to be a leader. And I think Rye will be a fantastic king and a fantastic leader.
Oh, I just opened the book to a cinnamon roll page. 437. Ned Tuttle woke to the sound of someone knocking. The dreams were getting stranger. Like, it's not direct lines, but like there's a bit in the middle. Then he heard the voices.
It's obviously shut. Nah, but
it's just like the fact that he could hear Oseron. I am a god, I am a king, I am just, I am merciful. Worship me and we will do great things. I am a god, I am a king. And then people are knocking on the door and he's like, "Oh, Tuttle, open up." And he's like, "We're closed." I'm like, "Oh, baby."
Is that when Mel and Lila rock up?
Just before that, I think.
Because that's when the things first start coming through.
Yeah.
And then he spends like the next time you see him, he's like creating a fucking altar and he's like surrounding everything and he's trying desperately to keep it contained.
I just love that he's like, Ned was up propping a chair against the locked door for good measure before he returned to the open book and started looking for a stronger spell. You can't do magic. This isn't gonna work. You poor
He's like, can
cinnamon
I
roll.
believe I can?
You poor
I'm like,
cinnamon
Tinkerbell,
roll.
I believe in myself.
Oh, there's something about a cinnamon roll that just makes me just feel like I have to want to protect
See,
them.
that's the thing. I read Ned Tuttle as a bumbling idiot.
But
That's
he's a
how I read him.
bumbling cinnamon roll. He
He's
can
trying
be
his best,
both.
Andy. He's got no magic, but he believes. He's just trying his best.
I can't breathe.
Now, the funniest thing is that bumbling idiot who tries his best has got fucking the inheritor buried in his fucking basement.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's thrown in it.
I also love that he sees Lila and he's like, wait a minute, I know you. And she's like, no, you don't.
He's like, ah, okay. Okay. My mistake.
Okay. Oh, I just love him. Okay, I love the little glimpses into the other Londons. Like, okay, Black London ends up being a huge thing in Red London. Like, White London in Holland obviously had like a huge part to play, but like you don't really see Grey that much once Lila moves. So the fact that every now and then you just go back to Ned, I'm just like, oh, bless.
And nobody else is any the wiser.
Nobody knows. You know, Baron's dead, the pub's reopened, and the George is like, yeah, Kel was always down at that pub, let's go. King, what the fuck are you doing? Like, fuck off, let somebody else lead. Grey London is not going to last long with you on the throne.
He did not in fact last that long on the throne, I don't think.
Good. I mean, we can't say for sure this is an accurate representation of his behaviour, but I believe it is, and therefore I hate him.
Yeah.
I don't care if this is not how he was in real life. He is now.
Yeah. Did you have like a pit stop or a specific scene in either this book or the trilogy as a whole that you either hated or loved and we're glad it was there? Like, not any of the devastating ones, because we could list them till we're blue in the face. But like, I loved seeing the ship, like that floating black market with like it's like the whole system, or even the one where she got commandeered by the pirates that she should have killed but didn't. Like that whole black market like stop off that they went to, where obviously nobody flies colors and every like
where the three empires meet.
Yeah, like there was so much like different world building out with the London that
Which
it
I
was
think
really
we're
cool.
going to get to see in Threads of Power, because obviously they went away on the Night Spire.
Yeah.
I cannot believe Alucard handed over the Night Spire to Lila, though.
I can,
because he stayed in London with his boy.
Wanted to be in London this whole time with Rye, but he didn't think it was a possibility. So he kind of was like, well, I'm going to throw myself into being like the best captain I can be, and I'm going to love this ship, and I'm going to build a big crew. And then he was like, Rye's an option again. Bye. That's for you.
He's not getting back. Though.
And it's like, oh look, Rye wants to leave London. Great, Lila, you take him.
Kel.
I'll stay with Rye. Yeah, hi. Kel, sorry. What did I say?
I'm so pleased that Rye kind of was like, right, well, the first thing we're doing is we're not bothering with the other Londons. We're going to focus on our London and make sure we're okay. None of this pass and letter shit anymore. And Kel, I'm giving you some fucking freedom. You don't have to be tied here anymore. I trust you to go off. You've got Lila and you've got yourself. You can protect each other. I trust you to go off and see the world. And he kind of lets him go. And I think it's really a really lovely moment.
So sad as well, because Rye wanted to travel as well.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that he's not letting the fact that he's stuck keep Kel.
Yeah.
Because it's not that he knows Kel would stay if he asked him.
Oh, 100%. And I think the fact that he said you can go travel will mean that when he's back and in London, he's there because he wants to be. He's there to see Rye. Like, he's not there because he's stuck. Like, he won't have that resentment like there was in book 1. where, you know, the king wouldn't let him travel. The only time he left was to go to another London with a letter.
He even had that moment when he was like, I have permission from the king, and it's like that word still grated on him, that Rye had given him permission to leave. But like that then was a Kel problem, because Rye didn't see it as I give you my leave to do whatever you want. It was like a like,
I love you, go.
Yeah. Whereas it still kind of grated on him because he didn't like the feeling that he needed anybody else's permission, especially after being exposed to Lila, who's like, permission?
What's that?
I will do it anyway. You tell me no.
It's not even you know those people that like, I'm like that. That's like, it's better to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. Lila doesn't either.
No.
Not
I don't even your forgiveness. I do what I want.
Yeah.
I don't even think she asks for forgiveness.
Okay.
I don't know if she even knows the meaning of asking for forgiveness, to be honest.
I don't think she knows the meaning of forgiveness.
She is amazing. Any other questions? I'm just emotional all over again now.
I'm just very, very, very excited for Threads of Power now.
I just know that the first part of Threads of Power is going to be them in trouble in a fight. Like the opening scene is going to be them in a fight, and it's going to be Lila that gotten them into it. And Kel's going to be like, "Why did you get me into this?" And she's like, "Look, we're fine, aren't we?" And he's like,
"Are we?"
And then the scene, the one on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Alucard waking up together in bed. Just be like, yes, it's a new day.
It really cemented that this is still like one of my favourite series of all time, probably my favourite series. And yeah, I just can't wait for Threads of Power now.
It was definitely right up there with David Bad for me, and Scythe. And I read, see, my brain goes, ooh, this trilogy. Oh no, what about this one? Oh no, about this one? And you forgot this one.
Yeah.
I hate being a fantasy series reader. Like,
but
my brain just.
It's quite funny because I kept hearing a specific voice in my head for Tyrion that did not match up very well. Probably did match up with him. Because have you read Frost? Have any of you read Frostblood?
I've read the first one. I didn't like it. Sorry.
Yeah, but I listened to the audiobooks. They have the same narrators all the way through, which is great because I hate it when they change the narrators. But you know the priest or whatever he is in Frostblood. That's this. Like, I was imagining the same thing for Tyrion.
Do you know who I imagine? The really old priest guy from Game of Thrones. Yeah. He's like running about, and then when he's on his own and no one can see him, he's like doing lunges and stretching and like jumping up and down. And then as soon as anyone's around, he's like,
I don't know who you're talking about.
I'll find a clip and send it to you.
Yeah. I haven't seen much of Game of Thrones, but I'm pretty sure I've seen that. So if you find one for Andy, send it to my way. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I know who you're on about. And I think he's the same. Like, he acts all doddery, but he actually is really still very, very with it.
Mm-hmm. I love how even Elle and Rye, they're like to Tyrion, they're like, "You're not as powerful as me," and Tyrion's like, "Okay, do you want to try it then?" And they're like,
"No, no, I do not. I retract my previous statement."
I genuinely thought Tyrion was going to die in this.
He'd die.
Hastra could have been a monk.
I think that would have done me in though, because can you imagine if Rye had to go off and be king and he'd lost his mum, his dad,
his mentor,
Tyrion? That would have been too much. He needed somebody, like, because Istra is obviously there, but she's not that kind of person for him. Like, she's a soldier, and he needed like somebody that he could, like, a good advisor. Yeah, and I think he's got that in Tyrion. He's got someone strong with lots of knowledge, good advisor, someone to have his back, and I think that's important.
I'm so excited for Threads of Power.
So 5 out of 5.
15 out of 15.
15 out of 15.
5's all round.
My first 3-star trilogy this year.
The weakest in the trilogy, I would say, Dark Shade of Magic.
Interesting. Because I used to think it was a Gathering of Shadows. The first time I read it, it was 545. That obviously changed because I realised I was an idiot, and they're obviously all 5 stars.
Yeah. I just think a Dark Shade of Magic, like you say, it feels like it could be a standalone. So because of that, I feel like it kind of pulled in a bit where it should have expanded. And then we get that expansion in a Gathering of Shadows and a Conjuring of Light.
Yeah.
So it just makes it feel a little bit stunted. Still a 5-star. I just think between the 3 of them, for me, that was the least strong. Because you don't get much, like, you get so much world building, so densely packed in a Gathering of Shadows. Dark Shade of Magic could have been another 100, 150 pages longer and still would have been a 5-star book. I feel like it was just a bit too reserved.
But then her writing has changed and grown so much. So I think this is a prime example of you kind of seeing the way that it's growing as she grows as a writer. So yeah, it's quite good.
I'm not ready for Monsters of Verity.
This is when I'm reading through the first time properly. All I know, I said in one of my videos, I was like, all I know is there's something about something about monsters, something about music. That's it.
Oh,
I know even less than that.
I've only read this once, so I remember very little of it. So this is not like one where I've read it 3 times and I already know the ins and outs. This is a once read thing where it was a long time ago. So I'm excited to revisit it and kind of get the.
Has Lisa read Monsters of Verity?
I don't think so. No.
So it's going to be a lot of fresh.
The thoughts will be fresh.
I know Becca wanted to do one of the shows, but I don't know if she wanted to do book 1 or book 2.
I think if she's on one, it'll probably be Our Dark Duet. Because I think she wants to be there when Lisa suffers the most.
Birthday present. It's fine. Also, birthday present for her, but also birthday present for me because the live show will be around about my birthday.
Ah!
It's what you get for the two of us having birthdays a week apart.
There you go.
Yeah.
I fucking love Schwab.
Yeah.
We are now, so we've read The Near Witch, we've read The Dark Vault, and we've read A Darker Shade of Magic. So that's 6 books in.
Yeah.
And the Ashbourne Boy, but
the
Ashbourne Boy, kind of like a half.
Yeah, I mean, I read it on the end of The Near Witch late, but I caught up. It's fine. And then obviously, so we've got Monsters of Verity, Villains, Cassidy Blake, Addie, and Gallant, and then Threads of Power. So 10, and not including graphic novels or any Everyday Angel.
Threads of Power are going to be a trilogy again.
Yeah, but we're going to have to wait for them.
Yeah. Well, you forgot Everyday Angel then as well.
No, I added it on the end. I said graphic novels and Everyday Angel.
Oh, right, sorry.
So 11 books plus Everyday Angel. I didn't realise we were going to hit the end of the year, Gem.
Yeah, we should do. I am so excited to reread Vicious and Addie.
Vicious is going to be the only book out of this whole read-along that I will be rereading.
Addie is going to stress me out if people see it as a romance.
Oh, yeah, no.
I hate the fact that people are stripping Addie and Luke. It's she literally, her last act was to make sure she drove him mad. Her last act was to make sure he lived a life of hell.
We're still live.
It's just pure. I just don't see it as it's not.
It's not a romance, no. No. I love Addie. I cried for an hour and a half at the end, so I look forward to repeating that. You're muted. You're muted, Tori. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was like, where's my spoiler alert? I know
It's not-
nothing. I know.
I just don't see it as a spoiler.
Yeah, but I know nothing. All I know is literally the title of Schwab's books. I have not read the synopsis. I have not read anything. I have not listened to any reviews. I have listened to nothing. Like, I genuinely knew nothing about these books when I opened them. All I knew was I was doing Schwabalong and it was a book I had to read.
Schwab is
So, like, the only thing I know about Addie is that people are getting a tattoo of a constellation. Like, I don't know what the constellation is. I don't know what it is. I know a statement about the book, but that's just because so many people were like doing it on reels that I saw that specific. I don't know if it's a quote. I don't know if it's like a phrase.
Oh, the I remember you thing.
Yeah, but it was like on stuff that I got in Fairy or Illumicrate boxes. So like I know that quote, but that is it. When I say I know nothing about these books, they're the first books I'm reading blind, and I'm having a great time because I've literally rated them all. Wait, have I rated all of them 5 stars?
I'm pretty sure you have.
I think maybe the Near Witch was 4, or was it 4.5? Hold on, let me look up last year's.
I think was maybe
no, I know it's not probably a spoiler for most people, but I literally have not paid attention to anything. Because I'm crazy and I'm totally trusting Jem on the fact I'm going to love them.
I can't decide. I think Addie.
I love how scared you look there. It's not a bad thing.
Addie, I think Addie confused me because I thought it was going to be a historical fiction.
Yeah, no.
It's not.
No.
And it confused me, and it didn't.
That's not my reading tracker.
But yeah. So, does anyone have anything else to say about Shades of Magic? Or are we all done?
I fucking loved it.
Me too. That's a good way to end.
There was pirates, and there was magic, and there was brotherhood, and there was death, and also the brotherhood was not just brothers, pointing that out. And there was shitty familyness and good familyness, and I loved it. And I think hurt.
I think it's a really good read for somebody who's not heavily into fantasy.
Yeah.
It's really accessible.
Yeah. Because there are definite fantasy elements, but it's very I don't know, you get invested in the characters and that, don't you? So
yeah, it's quite heavily character driven.
Yeah.
I think a lot of Schwab's most of Schwab's works are quite heavily they're character studies almost.
Yeah.
The Near Witch was a 4. Everything else has been a 5.
I really enjoyed The Near Witch.
Very Andy was freaking out through. No, it was the Dark Vault you were freaking out through.
I love the Dark Vault. Dark Vault is probably my favourite Schwab.
Nice.
This is my favourite trilogy so far. But I say so far because I've still got more Hurt to go.
Yeah. I might change when I read Monsters of Verity or Vicious or Vengeful, but definitely like the Dark Vault is probably my favourite. I love the way that V. Schwab writes characters.
The first time I started listening to Vicious, I had to stop because I thought the narrator was having like a breakdown. But I realized once I picked the book up that it's the way that the sentences are written by Schwab. Like, you know how she does like quite short sentences, like to make a snappy point. The way that the narrator was doing it and the way that I'd sped it up, the breathing and the spacing sounded super funny. So I thought that there was literally like
ventilating.
Oh, I thought the guy was like having a full-on meltdown.
Gallant's got like weird formatting as well, hasn't it?
I haven't read it.
Yeah. It has a bit, yeah.
Like just the way words are written on the page.
I'm excited. I love how they write. I'm fully invested in the rest of Schwabalong.
I definitely think,
which is good, since I'm one of the hosts.
Gallant is one of them. When we get to Gallant, I would highly advise actually picking up the physical book because there's a lot you will lose if you only listen to the audio.
Fair. I could do that. I have it downstairs. might get read more than this one with its pristine.
I read mine and it's still pristine, but it's quite a good floppy paperback. Like,
Yeah, this is mine.
don't. Oh my.
I love yours though. Yours looks well read and loved.
It is so well read. Look at it.
And on that note of balance it, we're gonna end it here so that you can